Hello and welcome to this weather report. It's around 8 o'clock, February 19th, 2018, and what do you know? It's raining again. How many days in a row, how many days have we had rain? It's crazy. The rain just keeps coming every day. It's been raining, for this month, it's been raining almost every single day. It's unbelievable. So we got more rain again, and more warmth and a real serious situation here with the weather, just really anomalous. Not that the media cares, though. And before I get started with this weather update, I just got a rant on News 12 here because, seriously, they don't cover local news at all. I mean, they spend 6 minutes. They spend most time talking about national news, especially the president. And they spend a long time with these national stories. It's not like they spend 30 seconds. Like with the shooting in Florida, they spent like 6 whole minutes on it. It happened in Florida, not Long Island. It's not local news. But they're spending 6 minutes on it. And meanwhile, if there's a crime, like there's been a number of crimes going on here on the island, they spend 20 seconds on it, on those stories, and the local stories like the bank robberies and stuff, and DWI. They spend like 20 seconds on it. But it's okay if they go ahead and they spend 5-6 minutes on each national news story. It's unbelievable. News 12 Long Island, you need to get your act together. All right, that's all I gotta say. I don't know whose decision it is, whether it's Altus or the news director, who I think Pat Dolan is still there, but you guys stink. All right, Long Island only has one local news source, generally speaking, and that is News 12 and Newsday. Newsday is also owned by News 12. It's absolutely ridiculous. And Newsday has been covering a lot of the national news. They've been putting priorities on national news too. Enough with the damn national news. We have CNN, Fox News, we have MSNBC, we have a bunch of national news networks out there. All right, cover the damn local news. National news does not affect people on Long Island. All right. Anyway, let's get to the weather. Alright, so I want to go over the snow amounts from the storm that we had Friday evening into, I'm sorry, not Friday evening, it was Saturday that we had the storm, Saturday evening. So you could see Connecticut got quite a bit here, 8 inches in Connecticut. And same thing for New Haven County. So Connecticut got a lot of snow as predicted, and so did Northern Jersey. Bergen County, Westwood 9.2. Some really high amounts there in the northern part of Bergen County, and Passaic too as well, and Essex. So generally, North Jersey wound up getting a lot of snow, just as I predicted would. I thought we would have higher totals in the North Shore of Long Island. Those did not verify. I guess just because it was so warm. But let me tell you, it was coming down pretty heavy. It seems like the highest number in Nassau County would be Levittown at 4.2. The city also got a good amount. I knew the city would get more. Again, points west, we're going to get more. As you can see, Queens, Whitestone got 5 inches. So I knew it wasn't just going to be a couple of inches in the city. I knew it was going to be more than that. Rockland also wound up getting a lot too, 7.8. As far as Suffolk goes, the highest amount there would be Vanderbilt Museum. So yeah, I thought the numbers would be higher in Suffolk, but they really weren't. I guess I was a little wrong about that, but still, it was close enough that it could have been. But it was just not enough cold air. It was all north of the city. So again, Westchester, Croton, and Huntsett 7.7. So if you were north and west of the city, you got a good amount of snow out of that storm. But for the rest of us, it really wasn't very much. I want to show you the reports from the Philadelphia office too. Okay, so we're going to look at the Philadelphia office, and I'm just going to go over the ones from New Jersey here. Atlantic County really didn't get very much because, again, there was mostly rain there. But you head a little bit inland, and Burlington County, actually, which is inland, and does cover some of the Pine Barrens. Some areas got up to 4 inches, but in the Pine Barrens, generally not as much. Once you head toward the Pine Barrens, it's just about 2 inches. I'm curious to see what the Central Jersey numbers are. Again, they cover some North Jersey counties like Hunterdon, and Hunterdon 9.3 inches there, and Lebanon 8.8. So yeah, they got a lot out of the storm. They did pretty well. They got almost even more than forecast. But I knew that that's where the heaviest snow was going to set up. I knew we weren't going to see those numbers on Long Island. I'm surprised it even got that high. So let's see, Metuchen in Middlesex County, nearly 5 inches. So yeah, it's again Middlesex County. I noticed got more. I was in Jersey yesterday, and I noticed along the Parkway there was quite a bit of snow around the Cheesequake State Park area. But the minute you headed south from there, the numbers started going down. So Monmouth County, 3.2 inches, and again was the highest number that they had in Monmouth County. And again, Morris County. Look at Morris County. Look at some of these totals. This wound up being a pretty big snowstorm. It didn't really get a whole lot of coverage in the local news, as I said before, but for interior areas, wow, that's pretty substantial. That is pretty substantial. It definitely made getting around difficult, that's for sure. That's for, again, North Jersey really wound up getting a good amount. Ocean County really didn't get that much. and I was in Toms River, and whatever little snow they had was melted by late morning. It was gone by 11. Somerset County, 7.4 inches. Wow, these amounts are pretty impressive. This may be the last significant snowfall of the season. Maybe. It's not over yet. We still get snow in March, but at least some of the interior areas got a good snowfall. Look at Warren County. Wow. So those are some pretty impressive totals in the northern and western parts of Jersey. Generally, anything from north and west of the Turnpike did pretty well. Wow. That's I have to say. So let's take a look at the... we're going to take a look at some... Actually, I want to look at the MODIS satellite for a minute. I want to zoom. So there we go. All right, this is the image from yesterday. So this is a pretty good image. Yesterday we did have some sunshine yesterday. There were a few clouds around, but we did have enough sunshine that it was a nice day to go into the pines. But anyway, here you can see this pretty much shows where the snow fell. This was taken in the morning, so a lot of this snow wound up melting by the afternoon. But you could see where it fell on Long Island, mostly the North Shore. So we were right, pretty much the North Shore was going to get the accumulation. North Shore of Suffolk, Nassau County, and in New Jersey you could see, again, it seems like if you just drew a line like this, follow my mouse here, if you just drew a line like this, that's where the snow fell. And then if you went south and east of that, there wasn't any snow. So it's pretty interesting, situation with the way it all panned out. So while some areas were digging out of a heavy wet snow, and a lot of it, other areas didn't have to shovel at all, and literally all within say 50 miles of the city. Huge differences in the snowfall. Before I go to the models, I just want to look at the iSlip climatological data for iSlip. And so far how this month is going. So what you're seeing here is a table showing the climatological data here, and you can see how warm it's been. This is the maximum. So we've been above normal a lot. So you can see above normal quite a bit, and we've had days that have been quite above normal. And this through February will probably be one of the warmest ever at iSlip, and maybe some other stations as well. So I want to go and look at the precipitation here. We'll go here and look at this because this is interesting too. We've had 12 days so far. Right, February. It isn't your imagination that it's been raining a lot. February. We're 19 days into February, and we've already had 12 days with measurable precipitation. So that is what is going on with that. And we are running 4 degrees above normal for the month on average. And the month is not over yet, and we have a lot of warmth on the way, and that's what we're going to get to when we look at these models now. And we will start with the GFS. So here we go. Here's the ridge building in the Atlantic, and you're going to get to see it build over the area. And we'll first look at the simulated radar or average precipitation. Show you where the precipitation is. We won't be getting too much rain tomorrow. But you can see how strong that ridge is. We will be getting plenty of heat. From that ridge is really going to be pumping up the heat. We're going to be breaking records, or at least tying them. And then we have the high starts moving offshore. And what's going to happen here is if you want more rain, well, guess what? We got more rain for you Thursday is we're gonna see more rain. That's one rainstorm right there into early Friday. There's going to be a high that's going to try to build down to the north, but we're going to be stuck in the clouds. That front's going to be stalled out thanks to the ridge. And then guess what? Here comes another rainstorm Friday night into Saturday. Saturday morning, another rainstorm. And then guess what happens by Saturday evening? More rain. So the rain, we are going to be having the wettest February on record with all these rainstorms. So let's see, I'm losing track here. We're going to have like a whole marathon of them here. All right? Here we go. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, yep, Sunday, Monday. That thing finally pulls out. And a little snow on the backside. I don't know if it's going to be cold enough here for that. That thing finally pulls out. So we're going to have a really long period of wet weather. It's going to suck. It is going to suck, and it's going to suck a lot. And then we get into the end of the month, and this looks like a hint of a pattern change here going on. And we see the high coming down, trying to build down from Canada, bringing us finally some below normal weather we'll probably have. And you can see a little bit of what we call negative tilt here, or the jets. You can see the trough in the jet stream here. And this is now we're heading into March, and this is a pattern change. This could be a snowstorm right here, or it might go too far to the south. But whatever way, we see cold air building into the area finally. We have a ridge in the west and a trough in the east, and it finally cools down into March. Man, I can't wait till then. If I could just hibernate for the next week, I think that would be a good idea between the rain and the warmth and everything. Because it looks like we're going to get some nice weather and colder weather and some maybe some more chances for snow. So let's see how this pans out with temperatures. We're going to go and look at the temperature anomaly. All right, so here we go. Right now, let me back it up to today. Today, here we go. So you can see very much above normal. You can see the cold air is mainly in the west, and we're going to have some real high temperature anomalies here across the area. And this week's going to be brutal. But you'll see as we go in, after another crappy weekend, you see that we should see cool down developing. You see how it's cooling down now in the east. It's not drastically cold air, but there's definitely a change, and the more cold air in the east. And again, this is long range. It's going to be hard to predict what the temperature is going to be, but it definitely should cool off into March to more normal, average, at least average temperatures, or maybe a little below average. I actually want to take a closer look at the heat now area. We're going to go and look at the northeast here. And today we're going to put this on temperatures, actual air temperature. Let's see what the GFS is saying, how hot it's going to be this week. So here we go. Tomorrow's going to be the first day where it's going to warm up, and I think you're definitely going to get well into the 60s in New Jersey. Long Island, maybe we'll get a little bit of a breeze off the ocean. We'll probably keep temperatures to around 58, maybe 60 degrees. It's cool. It'll be cooler on the South Shore with the sea breeze. Wednesday is going to probably be even hotter. Yeah, I think so. I see a 70 over at Philadelphia. So a lot of Jersey is probably going to be hitting 70 on Wednesday. So this is going to be some pretty bad heat coming along. And, I mean, look at this. It could be 80 in D.C. with some of these numbers here. Who knows? This is like record-breaking heat for February. On top of what is turning out to be the warmest February on record here. I want to go to the euro next. We're going to look at the euro. Let's see. We're not going to look at the temperature with the euro. We're going to go right back to the... I don't think euro has temperature anomaly. Oh, it does do temperature. It does 850 temperature anomaly. I'm going to go back to the other view, the wider view. Look at these. Oh, my gosh. Look at this. This is predictions of... This is in Celsius, all right? Temperatures tomorrow in parts of New York will be 20 degrees above normal. Over 20 degrees above normal on Wednesday in parts of New England. Insane. Oh my God. All right. Let's see what the euro has in store for us here. Go back. All right. That's the anomaly. So I want to look at the anomaly until in the long range and see if we can cool things down a little bit. Yeah, things cool down in March. You see how they start cooling down in the east. All right, so let's see how the euro is here in the longer range. See that big ridge there? The ridge from this week's going to be absolutely brutal. Hottest temps we've ever seen in February. And then after all the rain on the weekend, that's when we start to see that pattern shift toward colder weather in the east. You could see the trough and the teleconnections, which I don't usually get into, are also favoring this change into March as well. So that is what's going on here with the four. I just want to look at one more model, and that is the NAM air temperature forecast, because it's pretty interesting. So we're going into tomorrow here, Tuesday, and you'll see here that as we get into you can see how it warms up over Jersey. What's probably going to happen is the sun is probably going to come out over here, and the NAM has a hit in 70 tomorrow in Jersey. So and you know the NAM does a little better with the local variations or small variations. It has a higher resolution, so it does better with these type of things. So you could see that it could wind up hitting 70 in Jersey tomorrow, while being here on Long Island being in the 50s, and that's probably because the sun may not come out here. We may have some fog around. We have some dense fog. That's the other story. We may have some dense fog tomorrow morning as well as Wednesday, because the air is just so warm and it's going over the cold ocean and condensing into fog clouds. So we go into Wednesday. We're going to see a similar situation. Now the NAM's saying tomorrow could be hotter in Jersey than Wednesday. And you can see that front there moving through, but it's going to stall out, and that's where we're going to get stuck in the rain for a very rainy, very wet period. Anyway, some final thoughts on on this warmest, wettest February ever. All right, so I'll bring you some final thoughts here. This is yesterday in New Jersey, Winding River Park. Yeah, we actually had some blue skies yesterday. I had to take advantage of it. It's such a rare thing to clear skies, and I do want to make a video about how few decent clear sky days we've had lately. And like I've talked about before, I feel that we are definitely changing the climate. However, today I got news that there's been a huge volcano that erupted in Indonesia. So I'm hoping that thing can spit enough dust into the stratosphere so we can lower the global temperatures, because things are really out of whack in this planet right now. And like I said before, I understand people are into cars, and I'm into buses, all right? I'm into the way the engines sound and stuff. I mean, there's nothing, that's, I understand that. I really do. But we need to move toward more fuel-efficient vehicles, and we need to move away from fossil fuel. And I really think I understand people's passions for cars, and it's a hobby, and I don't want to take that away from anyone. But what I'm saying is we are killing ourselves here, what we are doing to this planet, and I think that there's nothing wrong with making electric vehicles the mainstream. Right now they're not the mainstream, and they need to be the mainstream. It doesn't mean that every single car will be electric. Of course, there will be cars with V12s in them, but they should be the exception rather than the rule. And I have a real problem with SUVs. I've talked about this before. And it's one thing of sports cars. Okay, sports cars, they're not the worst. They're not the worst gas hogs. I have a problem with the SUVs, and there's no reason why people should be driving such huge SUVs. Have you seen the QX80? I mean, that thing is just unbelievable. Who would need to drive such a thing like that? It's got a huge, it's an Infiniti QX80. I see these things all over the place on Long Island, along with the Mercedes GLs. Hey, what do you need such a big vehicle for? And those things get horrible gas mileage. We're talking like 10 miles an hour, 10 miles to a gallon in the city. Why do you need that thing? There's no reason, and this is what I'm talking about when it comes to these SUVs. I don't think that SUVs, it seems like ever since SUVs became popular, I know people will say it's the Industrial Revolution, but it seems like ever since SUVs became popular back in the 90s, the Earth's gotten warmer at a much higher rate. And I seriously think the SUVs have something to do with that. I think that they are causing the planet to warm. And I think that if we move to reclassify SUVs as commercial vehicles in this country, we could do it at the state level, but I think it should be done at the national level. Obviously, it's not going to happen with the current administration. But I think that we should be classifying them as commercial vehicles. And therefore, in order to drive an SUV, you have to have the same kind of driver's license that you need to drive a bus. And it makes sense because it's a much bigger vehicle and it handles completely differently. All right? And they should be much more expensive to own. Much more expensive to own. And honestly, we need to do something about getting these SUVs off the road. All right? And the same thing goes for the pickup trucks. All right? There's no reason to own one. All right? No reason at all. And I don't want. I'm already talking too long about this. I didn't want to talk too long about this. I understand, and I'm conservative, and I support a lot of individual freedoms. But when an individual freedom starts interfering with the quality of life of other people, namely ruining the climate and ruining the environment, then I feel that's when the government needs to step in. And this is the way I feel about gas-guzzling vehicles. All right, and I just think we need to start moving toward electric vehicles. We look at Europe, we look at countries like the Netherlands, and they have much better mass transit. They have less, they have less carbon dioxide, less greenhouse gases being put in the air. I don't see anything wrong with this country having a great mass transit system that more people can rely on. I think it's a great thing. All right, it means more money in the people's pockets and less money going to gas. All right, those that want to drive cars and are car enthusiasts will continue to be able to do that. But I think a lot of people are driving because the mass transit system stinks. And if we had better mass transit, we'd have less people driving. And it's not necessarily, I'm blaming all the parties here, the Republicans and the Democrats. At the federal level is not doing enough, but also locally in New York. We have Democrats running the state, and look at how crappy the mass transit system has gotten in this state. All right? The subway's falling apart. The Long Island Railroad has problems. They've been cutting bus service. Cuomo is not somebody who's encouraging mass transit use. Yes, I'll give him the fact that he's managed to get the third track project on the main line to fruition and the double track on the Ronkonkoma line. Yes, I think Cuomo has done some good there. But there's also a lot of bad that's happened under his administration. We need to rebuild the mass transit infrastructure. We need to look at the Netherlands and say, you know what? They're doing something right. Let's do that here in America. We should be leading the world when it comes to public transportation. And our news, once again, our news is missing the point. So we have a lot of work to do in this country. I don't want to talk any more about it. I've already made this too long. But we have a lot of work to do in this country to being kinder to the environment. But I think we can do it. People just need to be informed of what's going on, and the mainstream media no longer informs us anymore. They're too fixated on the president or covering these national stories to really cover what affects us. So that's why we are the media. Me, Andy and Matt Camper. We are the media. You are the media. Report the news yourself because the mainstream media isn't doing it. Anyway, take care, and thank you for watching. And stay cool this week.